I'm not sure whether Marcus would actually say that a new day or new age has dawned. I think he might say that a new level of spiritual experience is now on offer, or something like that. Because for the early Christians, who were, I say again, first century Jews, what mattered was things that actually, as we would say, happened in history. If you'd said to a first century Jew, the kingdom of God is here, they would say, look out of the window. Of course it isn't. People are still dying. You know, the world is still a mess. The pagans are still ruling us. How can you say the kingdom of God is there? And if you'd said, oh, what I mean is I've had this wonderful experience of the presence and love of God, which fills my soul and my heart with a new sense of love and forgiveness and so on, they would have said, well, that's marvelous, congratulations, but you know, we Jews have psalms which talk about that stuff, and it still doesn't mean the kingdom of God is here. To be earthed in first century Palestine, it's got to have happened. And you see, one of the interesting things about the scholarly debate here is that with the whole tradition of liberal scholarship that has denied the resurrection, they have had to push forwards onto the idea of the second coming, the idea of an event in history which will validate all of this. And then scholars have said, oh, so the early church was really upset because the second coming didn't happen in a generation. And all of that sequence of thought is kind of misplaced energy, because they haven't realized that for the early church it was the resurrection which was the event in history through which the kingdom had come and the world was now a different place. And of course the second coming was going to happen, but it might happen at any time, and it didn't faze them at all that it didn't happen after a generation, because the resurrection had happened. That was why in the place where in the Jewish worldview you find hope, in the Christian worldview you find joy. There is still hope, of course, but you have this sense that the thing has happened and we are now living out of that.